Hello there, my name's Elizabeth Hart from Legacy Wealth Advisors and the Life Academy. I'd like to talk to you today about the connection between wealth and wellness. I hope that what you learned today might give you a different perspective and perhaps help you to see the connection between these two quite traditional areas. I'll also share with you a little bit about my journey and how I came to make this connection. I'm a wealth management and trust professional with over 30 years' experience in the industry. For more than a decade, I was the managing director of Rothschild's wealth management business here in Singapore and a director of Rothschild Trust. And it was during this time that I first started to learn that wealth is about more than money. I've now moved to the client side and I provide independent investment advice where I can be fully aligned to clients without conflicts of interest. I also provide independent succession planning consulting to families to help them to tailor a bespoke succession plan to ensure a smooth transition of their wealth to the next generation. In addition to my career in finance, I'm the managing director of the Life Academy. We've been established since 2008, and for the last few years we've been providing inspiring events in Asia and one-to-one coaching to empower people to be the best version of themselves. And during the COVID pandemic, I worked out how to align that business towards the same wealth clients. So we launched a family wellness program, and what we do here is we bring the family together to enhance relationships within the family. We hold family meetings to work on things to bring them closer, like shared values and mission statement. And then we also do individual coaching with each family member in all aspects of well-being to really support each family member to be in harmony with themselves and their family and the world around them. So let me share with you a little bit about how this came about. How did I manage to put this together? So now I'm offering wealth, succession and wellness to give clients a truly holistic offering. Well, let's have a look. I've got a few slides to share with you. Does money buy happiness? Well, maybe in the short term, but certainly not in the long run. I'd like to share with you this quote, which I use with my clients from Mayor Rothschild. And it says, "It requires a great deal of boldness and a great deal of caution to make a great fortune. But once you have it, it requires 10 times as much wit to keep it." So what does this mean? This means that most families who come to wealth management and trust professionals have put a huge amount of time and effort into creating wealth. Either that generation or previous generations have really worked hard to create wealth. They've taken risks to get there. They're not usually asking us to double their money again. They're usually asking us to preserve what they have and prudently grow that wealth over the long term. They could actually lose it in a fraction of the time that it took to create that wealth. It's much easier to lose wealth than it is to create it. That's why I spend all my time in my career focusing on preserving wealth and ensuring a smooth transition of wealth. Really preserving it in real terms after inflation over the economic cycle. Statistics show us that most of us are not very good at preserving and keeping our wealth. I have this story which is a proverb known in quite a few cultures throughout the world. This one is the Chinese proverb, "Sandals to sandals in 3 generations." You also may have heard of shirt sleeve to shirt sleeve in 3 generations. What it means is the first generation are without wealth and often without education. They are in sandals because they are poor. And the best opportunity this generation has is to be entrepreneurs, to work hard, to create wealth. And often they are quite successful at this. The second generation are then brought up completely different, in a different environment, often with more luxuries than the first generation had, often with a better education. By the third generation, they are that much removed from the hard work that went into creating that wealth that it's just expected. They live on this wealth, and therefore the wealth gets spent very quickly and they're back in sandals. So very few families are able to keep their wealth more than 3 generations. There's lots of surveys out there that support this. The other fact, which I found fascinating, is that 70% of lottery winners actually go broke within 5 years. So even when we have wealth, it's very hard to create it, but then when we get it, we can't seem to hold on to it. And that's why my whole career has been focused on preserving wealth, helping clients to preserve the wealth that they've worked really hard to create. In terms of the risks that can be destroyers of wealth, there are many of them. I've put some here on a slide to share with you. The ones on the right-hand side of the diagram are risks that we can address through having a prudent investment strategy. So things like market risk, counterparty risk, interest rate risk, sector risk, country risk, business risk. These are all different risks that we can try to mitigate through having a prudent investment strategy. But then I realised that's only protecting the clients on one side. It's like building a fort, a castle, and you've only got one side protected. But what about the rest of the other side? So the other side comes to succession planning. So risks like creditor claims, corporate disputes, divorce, family disputes. This is why we also need a robust structure. As well as having a prudent investment strategy, we need a robust structure that can help ensure a smooth transition of wealth. But then I realised that's still not completely everything, because there's still something missing. Look at these examples of wealthy families. There are so many examples of wealthy families who have a lot of money. Often they're billionaires, but in my mind they're not wealthy because they're not in harmony with themselves, their family, or the world around them. Let's look at a few examples. The Chatter family in India were 2 billionaire brothers who were in a dispute over their father's estate. They both rocked up to this old farmhouse in their respective limousines and had an argument and ended up shooting each other dead over their father's estate. So let me ask you, were they in harmony with each other? They had the wealth, they may have had the structure, but that didn't help them very much. So to me, it just feels like there's still something missing. The Crown Prince of Nepal, he shot himself, his father, his mother, and 7 other members of the royal household. He shot them dead before shooting himself in 2001. Again, was he in harmony with himself? I don't think so. Was he in harmony with his family? No, probably not. And was he in harmony with the world around him? So again, it shows that the money, just having the money is not enough. Another example is Gina Reinhardt in Australia, a very public dispute where their siblings and the children have been fighting over the family trusts. Again, in this case, they have the wealth, they have the structures, but still there's a huge breakdown because they're not in harmony with each other. The last example there is the Kwok family in Hong Kong. Again, a very public dispute where the family have wealth. They have most likely have structures, but there's still this discord in the family which destroys relationships. Not having harmony destroys relationships. So it's really important that we find this missing piece. So I started to think about what's missing here. So if wealth is about more than money, what is wealth? If we start to redefine wealth and think about what if wealth is about being abundant in all areas of well-being? What if it's not just about financial wealth, but it's also about relationship wealth? Being wealthy in your relationships rather than being poor in your relationships. Having a wealthy mindset. Being wealthy in your physical being rather than being poor in your physical being. Having emotional wealth, being able to manage your emotions and learn from them and use them to live the best life that you can. What if it's about spiritual wealth? And what if wealth is about being abundant in all these areas rather than just about being about money? And this kind of, for me, was just like, oh my goodness, I think I found the missing piece. I'm not the only one to think like this. The legendary investor Sir John Templeton was asked what is the secret to wealth, and his reply was, the secret to wealth is gratitude. There are numerous studies on happiness and also numerous studies on longevity which show that the quality of our relationships are the key differentiator. They make a big difference in what people that define themselves as being happy or not later in life. There was a 40-year study on happiness which identified relationships as the key difference. And on longevity, having quality relationships has also shown to improve your mental, physical health and your overall well-being and add to longevity. I now take a very holistic view of wealth preservation. I've gone beyond thinking it's about a prudent investment strategy. I'm now looking at this in terms of wealth, succession, wellness and relationships to create this harmony in all these areas. In my view, that is how families can really preserve and prosper to ensure harmony through generations. I'm now doing this in 5 ways. I kept asking myself during the COVID lockdowns, how can families preserve wealth and ensure a smooth transition to a prepared next generation? So just having that sentence, how can families preserve wealth and ensure a smooth transition to a prepared next generation? I realised that, number one, having the preserving and prudently growing that wealth, which is what I was originally doing, the prudent investment strategy, that's really important, but it's just not enough on its own. We also need the other things. So now I'm doing 5 things to help families. Yes, to preserve and prudently grow their wealth. Set up effective structures to preserve and support the smooth transition of wealth. Agree key principles in the family to ensure that you're all on the same page. This comes to the work I do on family governance. And then the last 2 are included in the family wellness program, which is enhancing family relationships to ensure the harmony is there and supporting the well-being of each individual family member so that they're in harmony with themselves, their family and the world around them. I said to ensure a smooth transition to a prepared next generation. Well, that means we have to prepare the next generation, but not just prepare them to be wealth owners, to know how to invest money, but to prepare them for being well-rounded individuals and adults in this very complex world. So prepare them in all aspects, give them the life skills that they need. And then what we do is use that family wellness, that forum, as a safe space to educate and prepare the next generation about what the structure means, what it means to them, and to maybe educate them on the investment side. How do they preserve their wealth for generations? And so I just wanted to share that all with you today. I know it's probably a lot to take in, but I just wanted to share with you how I made the connection there between wealth and wellness. And I really hope you found that helpful. If you'd like more information, please check out our website, thelifeacademygroup.com or thelegacywealthadvisors.com. Hope to see you soon. Thanks. Hi, it's Elizabeth Hart from the Life Academy. I really hope you enjoyed that video and found it helpful. If so, please give us a thumbs up and write a review. And please subscribe on the link below to join us on this journey, to grow and learn together, to live with purpose and fulfilment as the best version of ourselves. See you soon.